Hey, I'm the editor, and in the previous video, we added points of interests and like structures and things just to make the previously generated terrain a little more interesting. Following up on the idea of making it a little more interesting, we're going to liven the place up with some trees and grass that aren't points of interest, so they'll be scattered all over the terrain instead of in concentrated clumps and only in said clumps. So let's get on with the video.
So we've got some interest now in this scene, but it is still pretty bare. There is no vegetation at all beyond the texturing that we have on the terrain itself. And once again, Gaia comes to our rescue. It provides these spawners. We've used one of the spawners in the previous video and also one in the video before that. So we used the texture spawner and the game object spawner that we just referred to. Now we're going to use these remaining three, the clustered tree spawner, the coverage tree spawner, and the coverage detail spawner. And each one of those does what it sounds. The clustered tree spawner will create clusters of trees across our map. And just like the game object spawner, it has a resource file. And if we click through onto that, we can look at what it's going to do. So this is going to be a tree spawner, so it has trees defined. It has two groups of trees. The first one is the broadleaf tree, which is just a standard prefab of a tree. It has some DNA which says how the object should be scaled, or what scale it is, and whether or not there should be some random influence on it, and so on, and how far the next version of that cluster is going to be away, around about 35 meters away. Also says the spawn criteria. So we've got one set of spawn criteria, which is saying, okay, we've got a bounded area check. So make sure that we have nothing interfering with the whole area of this complete environment. Only spawn it where nothing else has been spawned. Check that the height is between 1 and 950 meters. And this curve here says at 1 meter, be very likely to spawn, and then decrease as you get towards 950. Check the slope, so only spawn between 0 and 25 with a real emphasis on the north end. So you're not going to get these clusters spawning on steep land. We're not using check proximity here, but that will check proximity to other items. And we're not checking the texture, but using this, we can say only spawn on the grass texture, for example. That is going to be repeated for the other types of tree as well. So here's our spawn criteria and similar kind of criteria going on this particular spawner. So you can create your own resource files to define your own trees that you want to spawn in, and we will look at those in a later video. But right now, we're just going to use these defaults that come with Unity. I'm going to zoom out a little bit on the scene view so you can see what's going on across the terrain. And I'm going to click spawn. You can see the clusters of trees emerging. They're not appearing on highland or steep slopes, only on the flats. And that looks pretty good to me. If I wanted more trees in clusters, I could click spawn again, and it would indeed add more trees. But I don't want to do that. That said, there are some gaps here, so there's nothing at all. It's very bare here and over here and in a number of other places. And that's what the coverage tree spawner is about. So let's try that one. Spawn. Now we've filled in many of those gaps, so we've got much more interest across the terrain. And then the final spawner we're going to use, same resource files, same configuration, but this time it's defining a whole bunch of grasses, fern, flowers, etc. And we can look at how they're configured here. And this one is going to configure according to a Perlin noise mask and so on, or spawn according to a Perlin noise mask. And I'm going to hit spawn. This is going to take a bit longer because it's going to iterate over every piece of this landscape, and it's going to spawn grasses and flowers and things based on those criteria that we have created. So the great thing about doing this in Gaia, unlike many other solutions that are out there in the asset store, is these trees and the grasses that we're spawning and so on, these are actually normal terrain trees and normal terrain grasses. So you can later go in and edit down to the individual blade of grass or clump of grass and tree and so on, using the standard terrain tools if you so desire. You don't actually need Gaia in order to use this scene as it is created. So as I fly in now, you can see I have my trees, I have my grasses and some flowers, and as I fly around, you'll see the variety that we have. Now, by default, the terrain is set up to be fairly conservative. If you may recall from the first video, we set things up to be a standard desktop, not a powerful desktop. I actually want this to be better. I want more density of grass and I want more distance. What I mean by distance is, if I can just get somewhere, if you see here, the grass is stopping here. And the other thing, as I move forward, you'll see the lods of the trees kind of snapping in. And I want to fix that a little bit, but that's nothing to do with Gaia. That's just standard terrain stuff. So I go to my terrain, I click on the terrain button, and down here I can do things like increase the density of my grass. So you see, oh sorry, this is the distance of my grass. So it's now rendering much further into the distance. And then with this slider, I can increase the density of the grass. So you can see, if you look down here, for example, if I drop it down, you get no grass at that end, and then much sparser, and so on. Now, obviously, I need a more powerful computer or a more powerful GPU to be able to render this. I'm actually doing this for fly-through videos, and I'm going to show you in a later video how you can do fly-through videos at the highest quality, even at 60 frames a second, even with a lower power GPU. But in real time, obviously this is going to cause some more churn. I've got a pretty meaty GPU, so I'm going to stick with this. The other thing I want to do, same kind of thing, is how far away the trees will render. So I can see the odd tree over here, and that's pretty good, but maybe I want to make it that I can see further than that. This particular terrain, it doesn't look like there's any place where I can see such a long way away, but I tend to up this to about 3000 by default.
So, there you have it. We've got some buildings, we've got some points of interest, we've got vegetation and other miscellaneous plants. It's starting to really come together. It still looks a little unfinished due to a lack of lighting effects, but that's what we're going to be adding in the next video, so be sure to stick around for that. Hopefully I'll see you there.